How's it going, guys? Jake here, Dude Ranch DIY. It's first thing in the morning. We got a nice weekend here. Sarah's actually away for the weekend of visiting her parents, so I have the day to myself. I worked all day yesterday, but today I'm going to try and get some stuff done around the house. First thing on the agenda is to get this old truck washed up. I haven't washed it since I got it. It's pretty filthy. You might not be able to tell from there, but the windshield's all crusty. I drove it to and from a job yesterday. Got chip dust all over it. So first things first, we're gonna get this thing washed up. Well, guys, there she is in all of her glory. The 1992 International 4700 LP, I believe is the model. For a 29-year-old truck, cleans up pretty good. It's 1 year older than I am, so it looks pretty good. This thing was always kept indoors for most of its life. It actually mostly had the flatbed on it for most of its life. You can see the two big lines that run down the center of it. A tree company actually owned it, and it had a spray rig on the back to spray trees and shrubs and stuff. So it's in pretty good shape. So we got that all cleaned up. Now we're gonna move on to something else. All right, guys, if you couldn't already tell, we are gearing up to do some tree work. Also, if you couldn't tell, the tractor is going through a regen right now, very conveniently. So I'm gonna try and talk a little bit louder. I apologize for the noise, but I just wanna get the regen over with. I got the MX-8800 WoodMaxx chipper on the back, and I fashioned myself up an IBC tote chip box a few weeks ago. I cut the top off the bladder, left the crossbars in for a little support, drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom so that rainwater can drain out, and now it gives me something to chip into when I'm out here in the front lawn or somewhere where I can't just blow and shoot the chips into the woods. So I don't want to make a mess, so we're going to be chipping into this IBC tote, and then wherever I need the chips, I can just dump them. Now that we've stepped away from the tractor a little bit, as far as the tree work goes, today, to start, I'm gonna be tackling these two big sugar maples right here in the front. As you can see, they're quite large. On the roadside by the power lines, they've been stripped up pretty high to give the power lines ample clearance. But on our side, they really haven't been touched in quite some time, it looks. A lot of these branches are pretty low to the ground. I hit my head on some of them when I'm mowing, or the roll bar of the tractor or the mower hits the branches. So today, I'm just gonna be scurrying up only about 20 feet or so to take off this lowest whorl of branches that you see right here in front of me. I'm also, if you can see that line right there, I believe that's our cable line because the power comes from the pole over there. But that's our cable and internet, and there's a few branches that are touching down on it too. So before the wintertime comes, I just want to raise up, reduce a little weight, give these lines a little bit more clearance, give the lawn a little bit more clearance and light, and we should be good to go. I'm here by myself. Normally, I wouldn't do any aerial tree work to any great degree on my own, but like I said, we're just going up about 15, 20 feet, making a couple cuts, and we're gonna call it a day. We're not gonna go crazy or anything. And then we're gonna chip it up, clean it up with the tractor, the WoodMaxx chipper, and the IBC tote chip box. All right, and just like that, we got our line set using the throw ball. This obviously is my climbing line. Now I can set up my climbing system. Now this climbing system is all based on friction. As you can see here, I just set it up, and this rope, which we call an eye-to-eye because it has two spliced eyes on either end, provides all of the friction to hold me up in the tree. It locks one way, but moves the other. You can descend, ascend, and the pulley helps reduce a lot of the friction from the rope itself. Now I tie in to this carabiner right here onto my climbing harness, and we're good to go. All right guys, so before I head up in the tree, I just want to make note of the fact that I finally got a hard hat mount for my little DJI camera here. So I am going to be taking you up in the tree with me. It's the first time I'm using it. Obviously, like I said, I just got it. So bear with me on the angle and stuff. I think I have it in a pretty good location angle where you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I also am going to have the camera that I'm talking on now set up for a little time lapse so you can see what I'm doing both from in the tree and on the ground. Well, all right guys, we are up here in the tree, as you can tell. Now I'm going to pull up my saw and my pole saw, and we can get to work. Chainsaw first. All right, chainsaw set. Now the pole saw. All right, pole saw set. Huh. Still touching the ground. That's how close to the ground we are. All right, so I think on this tree, really the ones that are pretty low is this one that I'm touching, this one I'm standing on, and then this one out here. So those are going to be the three that I take first. For now, start with this little guy and just do it with a handsaw. Okay, one down. Now for these next two, I'm going to use the chainsaw. So I'm going to take my buck strap out here, or positioning lanyard as some people like to call it. I never use a chainsaw without having 2 points of contact. First being my main climbing line, and the backup being your buck strap. So you always want to position that away from where you're going to be making your cuts. Now I'm locked in, ready to go. Pull myself closer using the buck strap. Now my weight is fully supported by my climbing line, my legs, and my buck strap. So we're going to take this first limb here. I don't want to peel it or make a wound per se, more so than just the cut itself. So typically you would make an undercut, a top cut, a little bit farther out. That way the branch snaps and falls flat, and then you go ahead and flush cut. So we're going to do that right here. Saw's a little cold. All right, here we go. Nice and easy.
First cut's done. Got a nice shiner right there. No injury, no peel. Good to go. Now we're going to drop down a bit. Do this one I've been standing on. So because I'm standing on it and using it to support myself, I'm going to cut it out a little farther. But let's get this sucker out of the way first. All right. Let's make our next cut. Good to go. Beautiful. Now from where we are right here, you can kind of see out in front of me, this big leader that comes out, we got a couple droopies, as I call them, that hang down, that come off the main trunk here. So I'm gonna walk out on that, probably thin out a few of those suckers that are pointing straight up, and then we're gonna elevate. I might be able to get out there to use the chainsaw, but I also might have to use the pole saw. We'll kind of play that one by ear. So for right now, I'm going back up. All right, let's walk out a little bit farther. Okay, so I don't really have much in the way of tying onto out there, so I'm gonna have to walk out there and then set my buck strap a bit, but that's all right. Flip my pole saw around on the other side. All right, I got my buck strap set and my climbing line set, so now we're just chilling. So looks like this branch is just straight up in my way of seeing, so we're gonna take this one. This one's making contact right there, so you don't want any crossing or rubbing branches. Can introduce insect and disease. Now this next one out in front of me, it's definitely drooping down onto the cable and internet line there, so we're gonna take that one. All right. Now let's see, for this one that droops out, we're gonna have to walk out a little farther, so let's adjust these here. Work our way out. It's in the way, cut. So yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I think pretty much this whole limb has got to go. So I'm going to drop down a little right over here, and I can make a nice box angled this way away from the power line, and it should just peel and go off that way. So instead of making a bunch of cuts with the pole saw, I'll make one cut with the chainsaw. Here we go. Bounced right off the line. We've got clearance. Okay. I think pretty safe to head on back in closer to the trunk. All right. Let's flush this last limb. Bada bing, bada boom. Make sure you guys are still on here. Yep, you are. Can't hear very good with my earmuffs on, although I guess that's the point, right? All right. My knot here, friction knot on my buck strap lanyard keeps getting tightened up. Oh, it's because I'm at the end. It's a good reason. All right, let's flush this last little one. Beautiful. All right, now we're gonna slowly walk back. Get my foot on this little sucker here. Tighten up my climbing line. All right, so that's that side. And I think for over here, probably make just a pole saw cut on this lowest one. Kind of droops down, and then I'll go over there and zap off this little one and that dead one. And we should be pretty good for this tree. I always like to climb with my scabbard on my pole saw. A lot of guys don't because it's an extra step, but I see it as an extra step for safety, so can never be too safe when you're climbing in trees hanging by a rope with a chainsaw. So that's just my look on it. Hoping this piece just flips right off the line there. Got most of the weight on my side. Yep. Almost like I know what I'm doing. Okay. Now, I'm gonna move right over here. Just give myself a better working point. And we'll take care of those last couple branches there. This piece, oh, there we go. She's a dangler. If we can hop that off there. There we go. Oh, all right. I reckon that's gonna look a lot better. That'll be it. All right, going down. All right, a couple cuts, but we sure made a mess. All right, guys, big difference here. A lot of brush on the ground, but as you can see, we have a lot more open area, airflow through the tree. It's a little bit more even now, left to right and front to back as far as like branch, where the branches start, height. So now we're gonna fire up the Kubota L3901 tractor and the WoodMaxx MX-8800 PTO chipper. Get all this stuff cleaned up. We have Louie, the guardian of the Dude Ranch, keeping watch on everything. That's it. Only pieces left are these three bigger pieces. Now, they're definitely not 8 inches in diameter, but it is sugar maple, which is really hard. And you might have been able to tell, chipper had a couple minor difficulties with some of the bigger pieces I fed through, but they were really long, so I wanted to chip them up. But I'm gonna give the chipper a break on this one. I do think the blades are due for a changing or a flipping. Let's see how many hours I have on this now. So yeah, we got 48 hours on it, and I swapped them the first time I think at about 25 or 30. So we're probably due for a blade change. This will be, I'm running right now the second edge on the first set of blades that I got from WoodMaxx. They were kind enough to send me a whole second set. So I can put on that second set, take off this old set, send them out to them for sharpening, and then I'll have 2 more, sides on the set I'll put on, and then I'll have a fresh set of sharpened blades to throw on after that. So it's nice to have 2 complete sets. But yeah, you can even tell it's making larger wood chips here. Granted, this was probably from some of the bigger stuff. It does still make nice, fine, mulch with the smaller stuff. But we filled up this IBC tote
quite well. Yeah, see, here's that smaller, finer material I was talking about. Tends to, for whatever reason, when you feed the larger diameter material through it, especially hardwoods and stuff like sugar maple, it tends to kind of shred it or just like really finely like dust it. I don't know if it's because it's hitting knots, you know, internally where there were branches coming out, so it's a little tougher wood. But I really do think that changing the blades would make a big difference. So that's been added to the to-do list. One other thing I wanted to note on this IBC tote, like little chip box thing here, it is not complete. I do want to devise a way to essentially cut out a panel here. That way it'll make it easier to dump. You know, I can just use the hooks on the pallet forks and those chains that I had for dumping the IBC tote, you know, filled with firewood. But because I'd be chipping into it, I want to make it so it's removable. So I was thinking I would cut out sections here and then use like either carabiners, or I don't really want to do zip ties because those aren't really reusable. But I was thinking like carabiners or shackles kind of to kind of like attach the grate back onto itself, maybe drill some holes through or something like that, a little system. So if any of you guys have any ideas of what I could do to cut out the face of the tote yet still be able to put it back on, and I was thinking I would zip or drill 2 little holes on each side here and zip tie this plastic to whatever section I cut out. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any ideas of how I can reattach the grate back on for when I'm chipping, but then take it off for when I want to dump, throw your you know, feedback in the comment section down below. I'd appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks to any and all new subscribers and old subscribers. Really appreciate all the support and feedback you guys give to the channel. Today was a success. We got 1 tree pruned. I am going to go climb up, head up the second sugar maple, but I think you guys get the gist of what's going on. Let me know in the comments below if you liked the helmet cam. That's the first time I've ever done that. I've done a bunch of videos on climbing and stuff like that, but it's always from the ground. I never brought you guys really up in the trees with me. So if you like that, I could definitely do more of that, considering I do it every day. So let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. So thanks for watching. As always, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Share it with friends. Comments and feedback down below. And we'll see you next time. I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching.